Welcome back. This is day 10 of 30 days of food photography breakdown. We have a very interesting picture that I've got from Pinterest, and I want to break it down for you for simplifying food photography and making you believe that you actually can do good food photography with whatever equipment you have. Right, the first step for shooting amazing food photos is to break it down, right? So you need to understand how it's shot, what is the lighting, what are the equipments they might have used, what is the composition, all of that good stuff, right? So quickly, let's dive right in. So whenever you try to decode anything, you need to understand where is the lighting coming from. That's the first task you have to have as a person who is going to bring down food photos. Anything, just isolate a particular part and look at the shadows and the highlights, right? So I'll just take two examples over here. One is for the highlights and one is for the shadows, right? So the red is shadows and the blue are the highlights examples, right? So when you look at the highlights over here, let's just draw this circle. So I can safely assume this is a curved spoon. On that curved spoon, I can see a nice specular highlight. From that, I can assume that the lighting is coming from this direction. Okay, that I can deduce from the lighting's highlights. Now look at the shadows. When you look at the shadow of this bowl, it has an outline like this, right? That means, again, it says that the light is coming from this angle. So do you see both the highlights and the shadows are saying the same thing in just different language, right? So it can be understood from different language perspective. Both highlights and shadows are telling the same exact story, that the light is coming from this area. Apart from that, if I just remove all of that, you can take a screenshot of this and understand where is the lighting coming from. But if I remove all of that, I can also see, apart from this lighting direction, I have another light source or a reflector that is reflecting back this light, either that or it is casting another light from this angle, right? So there's another light source. Understand, remember always one thing, very crucial thing: your basic white chart paper or a cardboard sheet which is acting as a reflector, it is also a light source. Please don't forget that. Anything that is bouncing light or generating light, it's a light source. Please treat it as a light source. In food photography, in any kind of photography or visual art, it's so important that you follow this rule, this simple guideline. It is treat it as a light source, okay? Not to ramble too much about all of this, moving on to the visual aesthetics aspect of it. So very nice, very interesting frame over here, because I can see a lot of jute, lot of earthy tones, lot of wood, lot of ceramic. So I can assume that this is very antique, this is very um, antique or organic, or what kind of vibe elements that I can give, and try to explain you this picture. You get a very nice feeling that it's a traditional thing, right? So a traditional thing is a better way to put it. So you are getting a lot of sense of tradition from this kind of food photos, which has earthen materials, which has wood, which has jute. So it gives you a more traditional vibe rather than a modern look, right? So if I just go on a tangent and explain you what is a modern look. So modern food photos, if I show you, it would be velvety, it would be very edgy, very bold, very colorful, that sort of stuff. But what we have right over here is very traditional. So this kind of setup gives you traditional vibes, very earthen, traditional, and neutral color tones, right? Basically, right? So it is some sort of meat, some sort of, I don't know what this food dish all about. I'm not a culinary expert, I just am decent at shooting this culinary things, right? So try to decode all of these other things. Your backdrop is the jute thing. If you are an Indian, if you are a Hindi speaking person, this is like the rice ka pota, right? It's a pota, so that's a jute mat. So if you are trying to search it on Amazon, you will find expensive ones. So rather go in your like ration stores and secure some empty potas from those stores, right? So that is how you get this jute backdrop. They have also used a jute mat, a part of the jute mat as a surface along with the wooden backdrop, the wooden surface, right? So and on top of, like, in at the bottom of that wooden surface, there is either a wall or there is no empty space, right? So it's like a layer on layer. You can see from this angle there are layers, couple of layers over here. Maybe it's the wall, maybe it's the space over here. That's the first layer. So there is nothing beneath the table. Then it is the wooden floor, the wooden table. On top of it there is a jute mat. On top of it there is this weird shape, oval shaped wooden tray, like where the actual noodle sort of thing is served. And then on top of that there is the bowl, and on top of that there are the actual food items and the garnish, right? So there are at least like 4 to 5 different layers in a food photo. So make a rule of thumb, have this rule of thumb that you can have 4 to 5 layers in your food photos. Food photography is very similar to fashion. If you have more layers, you need to get more creative with how you're actually having the layers cohesive with each other. You don't need the layers to be so extravagant and so distracting that you are not able to focus on anything in the frame, right? So make everything flow together, right? So that's your job as a food photography freelancer, or your job as a food brand owner, to showcase the customers, showcase the products in a good, decent manner for your customers, right? So that is your job as a person who is dived indulged in food photography, right? So that's about the visual aesthetics and about the lighting. Now talking about the angles, let's try to break down what is the angle and where have they shot it from. So it's a 45-degree angle that they have used. How can I tell? Because I can see the top, some like only a little side of the top and some part of the side as well. From this angle for 45 degrees on a table, I can see the top a little bit and the side a little bit, right? So this is the 45 degrees shooting angle over here. So 45-degree shooting angle, one light source from here, another light source or a reflector from here, and the visual aesthetics, that are the layers of all of these things, very traditional jute earthen vibes that I'm getting from this picture. And overall this picture is so inviting. Don't you feel so? Like this photo is so inviting. And I am feeling hungry after looking at this picture. So let me just order some food or go out, or maybe just not do it at all and try to focus on my willpower so I can make some gains in the gym, right? So yeah, perfect. I hope you found this day 10 of 30 days of food photography breakdowns to be useful. Again, if you want to learn from me how do you do this with just your mobile phone and limited equipment, you can check the first link in the description. It's for the 7-day food photography challenge. It's a set of food photography videos that you have to watch and do with me so that you will get the results that I'm showing, right? So again, check in the description, first link, 7-day food photography challenge. I'll be seeing you tomorrow for the day 11 of 30 days of food photo breakdowns. See you tomorrow.